right. Couple weeks off from the video updates. I'm not. I would like to say there's a good reason why, but it was a million little not good reasons. But whatever. We need to take a break.
I thought you were locked in your house in the ice just like I was, man.
Right, which means I probably should have done a lot more. So hey, man, talk about that. Talk about the snowstorm, Houston life, and how that's impacted your fantasy team last week.
So yeah, we could go, let's see, on Sunday, weather was rolling in and, people were predicting multiple nights sub freezing. But Sunday night, basically across Texas, there was like a major power shortage. And so a bunch of people's lights got turned off. And at one point by like Tuesday night in the Houston area, 1.5 million people, homes were without power. The city, shut down for real. Plus, it was like we had precipitation and it didn't go, well, a lot of it didn't go anywhere. So we had snow and ice, around. So yeah, the city shut down, and it was a pretty frantic week. People's just old people, at home, wrapped up in blankets in front of their fires, trying to check on everybody, make sure everyone's good. And then the other thing around here, it's like then when the thaw happens, then all the pipes start exploding because people's water's frozen. So it was a week here. But I was cruising, and then part of what happened was Rockets game started getting canceled. So I guess it went both ways. I think Grantham had a Rockets player or two, but yeah, I had people playing on the Rockets against the Rockets, and it put my victory in jeopardy. Although I remained fairly confident throughout the week with my resurgent team here. So, which also, by the way, I don't know if you notice, is like stacked with Dukies. So, it's like, Zion, Brandon Ingram. I had Marvin Bagley for a while. Mason Plumlee had his first career triple-double last Sunday night to cap off my win against Dustin. So, yeah, led by the Krzyzewskis, man.
Plumlee, the steal of the summer free agency dealings.
I almost dropped him a couple times, but hey, he's been coming through. So
got to hold true. Well, you have, man. Like I'm not gonna lie, there for quite a while, it was kind of like, oh, okay, so I guess everybody except Daniel and Josh are making the playoffs. 10 out of 12 teams. Was not looking good, but you've been having a nice little climb. What's been the reason for your climb back up the standings?
Dustin, basically. So yeah, I knew I had
namesake. We should just say, in case anybody's not keeping up, for your new name is I Beat Dustin. So carry on. Let's just get the whole story on this.
Yeah, so I was near tank mode. I just had a hard time getting back into the swing of sports, like any sports other than Braves baseball last fall, but any sports, it's just been hard for me. So NBA season started. I'm not watching any games. I'm not really keeping up. I like my team okay from the draft, but it just and then the whole coronavirus thing, it's like you have your lineup set, and then at 4:00, someone tests positive and like all your players are shut down,
Yep.
It was just getting frustrating. So I think 3 weeks ago I played Matt, and he was at least reminding me. He was texting Dustin and I and saying like, hey, Daniel, set your lineup this week. And so I did a couple times, and then forgot a couple times, and worked to my advantage. So here we go. Monday, February 8th, 6:14 p.m.
Oh goodness!
Before tip-off, I must say, which was his mistake, but I don't know if you can see that.
So we got this easy dub
this week.
Oh goodness! Easy dub this week. That's you guys' matchup. UV Dustin.
That was me and Dustin. Yeah.
Dustin, who had been crushing it, man, crushing it with Chris Stapleton tunes, leading the way. He's been dominant.
Yeah. So he lit the fire, man. I was like, well, so I got on immediately, and I set my lineup that night. And yeah, no, I had some fortunate success that week. Plumlee, triple double, being one of the key examples. But yeah, so he lit the fire, and it felt good to get that taste of success again. And then honestly, going against Grantham, I've been seeing y'all talk about Grantham like he's the second coming of the 90s Bulls, So I was like, well, we'll see what we got, and ended up taking another victory, and I think outscoring everybody in the league last week.
Well, that's why you're on, because 2 weeks in a row, like you've had a resurgence here with some wins, which is good by itself, but you really come on strong 2 weeks in a row with the highest point total. I mean, these things ebb and flow, as almost all of us are seeing. You know, some of you guys who started out with a bunch of losses have now come back with several wins. Guys like Daniel lost a couple here and stuff, but still pretty impressive couple of weeks for you here. So who knew, you know, people insulting you and people reminding you to set your lineup would be so crucial to success.
Yeah, the reminders didn't help that much, but the insulting definitely got to me. So yeah, and then I checked in because I essentially thought I was out of it, but it also seemed like there's a lot of clumping. I mean, if the best record is 6-3 and the worst record is 3-6, then everyone's right there together.
It's actually true, honestly. Like it's going to be whoever ends up out, unless it's anybody who just says I'm done, I'm not even going to try. It's going to pretty good race these next few weeks to get into the playoffs.
Yeah.
So speaking of insults, though, back to that, this is a big matchup for you this week, because this is I think it's pretty well definitive that this is the way we're going to determine who won the Luka trade this week. You and Carlos's matchup this week. So how are you feeling going into that?
Well, I hope that's not the case, that this is how we'll evaluate the trade, because I'm not optimistic. So, I mean, part of it is scheduling. So like DeJounte Murray, who's like a definitely underrated, at least in fantasy, in terms of getting padded stats.
Well, his defensive steals immediately. He's a good rebounder for a guard, and he's an amazing defensive guard. Boom, right there. You got pretty good.
So he's part of this coronavirus crew. The Spurs have been out going on a week or more. Well, not only that, but also they're supposed to play the Pacers today, and Sabonis is like my best player somehow. So, so I got both of them still sitting tonight, yeah, so I may have some matchup issues this week, just with not having a lot of guys out there. But in general, I don't know. Carlos' team looks pretty good, and I don't know. Maybe it's just that I don't feel like I can win 3 weeks in a row. Haven't yet gained that kind of confidence.
All right, that's fair. But I mean,
all that aside, there's no more motivation in the world than beating Carlos. So I mean, at least I'm good. My head's going to be in the game, because beating Carlos is like a nice trophy to have every year. And I will say too, going back to the reminders and the insults, once I got to like 2-4, 2-5, whatever it was, I guess I was 1-5, or Carlos started offering me tank trades. So he was like offering me, like all his injured players. Like he tells me there's this guy named Christian Wood who apparently plays for the Rockets and is like good or something, but he's like injured. And so Carlos is like, oh, I'll trade you him. You give me Sabonis, and like that'll be even, because you're not going to compete this year anyway. So Carlos is also slightly involved in the igniting of the flame and breaking me out of my championship hangover.
Dude, you're like MJ in fantasy, like that. I forget, what was that bozo's name who allegedly didn't even insult Jordan, and then he came back and scored like 50 points on him in the Last Dance. It was some Wizards or Bullets probably at the time player insulted him, and that's what you're doing, everybody. So everybody's on notice. Don't insult Daniel. Also, I gotta say, I hear a lot of guys, and I don't know what this is, but I've heard a lot of guys say similar things about Carlos in particular. There's not a lot of guys that everybody's like, I want to take him out whenever I play him. But Carlos is on that list. Arguably one of the nicer guys we've got in the league, but everybody's ready to take him out. So, look out, Carlos.
Well, it's because every year he tries to sabotage our league with some, numbskull trade to Bill, and give Bill the power advantage. So
it's true. That's probably it. So everybody is mad at Bill and at Carlos. All right. So last thing, you've been an Atlanta born and bred sports fan. How does Atlanta sports fandom impact your just attitude toward fantasy sports? Does it give you a sense of despondency? Like, even though I do well, I'm probably going to lose at the end. Granted, you are our reigning champion, to be fair, by the way. And shouts to you for bringing back the original Zaza rule to the league. Does it give you hope? Like, hey, I can redeem all of my real life sports pain through fantasy sports. Like, how does your Atlanta sports fandom impact your fantasy sports life?
Um, I have not thought about it. That's a very philosophical question that I have not spent much
But
time
we only ask the deep questions here.
meditating on. Um, so I mean, I didn't even believe or understand that I had won last year. I mean, you know this. You and I had a phone call like 6 months after the fact, and I was still trying to have you explain to me how I was allegedly the champion of fantasy from last
Yeah,
year. So I guess I just, I'm unable to believe that I could actually win a championship
that's it.
because that
You're
doesn't
so
seem right.
wounded. You're so wounded. Like you want it, you just can't. It's not a real thing.
Yeah, but I don't know how to fit. It's I will say, having Trey on my team feels really good.
Oh
Like
yeah.
if I, and I probably won't, but even if I had continued on like tank mode, just like there's a source of pride of having Trey. I mean, obviously we're all supposed to have Hawks players, but I mean having Trey right now, he's like the great hope of Atlanta sports. I guess maybe Ronald Acuna might
I
be.
was to say, I think Acuna's got that. He's got that belt for now.
Yeah, but Trey's up there. So, yeah, so it feels good having him and someone, I won't say who, someone offered me a trade for Trey this week, and I just said I told him, look, nothing against you, but Trey is off the table. I'm not trading him.
Untouchable. Leave him alone.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is cool. Congrats on your last couple wins. Good luck this week with Carlos, and also good luck with not only keeping your team powered up, but keeping your house powered up.
Yeah, seriously. Well, thanks, man. I was getting a little bit, bothered a little. It's like LeBron always used to complain about not having a home game on Christmas Day, and I was getting a little bothered that the previous champion had not yet been invited to do the weekly recap, but all things have been made right.
We just had to wait until the timing was perfect. Like it's like pulling a steak off the grill. You got to just there's a real definite window. You got to do it. Not too early, not too late. This was it.
That's it. Well, this was
Congrats.
fun. Like you said,
Congrats and
perfect
good
week to
luck.
do it.
All right, man. See you.
We'll see you.